one of the most unfortunate, one of the most, one of the worst feelings that any athlete can go through, especially at the biggest stage like the Olympics. Jordan Chiles, I mean, to go from having this moment, getting her bronze medal, for then, by the mistake of judges, she will have to return her bronze medal. I mean, that's something that I don't wish it on nobody. I wish not even myself if I were in that situation because you put in the work, every 4 years in the Olympics for you to have this moment. And for, and I understand mistakes can happen, but it's just, I feel for Jordan. I feel for the women's gymnastics. I feel for everyone that's rooted for her. But I don't wish that on nobody. My question
And
to you, Avery, is do you feel that, do you think at least this one time, just this one time, they should just give one medal to Romania's I have her name here, but to the person that now is awarded the medal, you think that they should just give one to her and then one to Jordan as well? Because when we're talking about stripping, it feels like, in my opinion, when I hear about an athlete getting stripped from a title or from a medal, that means that they either cheated, they disrespected of the game, and she didn't do none of the above. It was just a mistake of of judges and everybody involved. So, what do you make of this?
you're absolutely right. When the story first broke on Saturday, that was the initial reaction. When you hear of the Olympic Committee, as you say, stripping a medal, you automatically believe that the athlete did something wrong, and that was not the case. Jordan Chiles did absolutely nothing wrong. This was a human error by the judges. And what makes it worse, when you have all this evidence to show that the inquiry done by Jordan's coach was requested in the 1 minute time limit, even after they made the decision, their rules state that if you provide additional evidence, they're not going to accept it. So not only is this a judgment error by the Olympic Committee, human error, but also it's kind of the riddle of what is the easiest thing and the hardest thing to do. And that's say, I was wrong. The Olympic Committee, all they have to do, really, in my opinion, and probably opinion of a lot of people that are supporting Jordan, United States gymnastics, basically any Olympic athlete that made it, say you were wrong, say you're correct. The Jordan's coach asked for that inquiry. Yes, we made a mistake. Yes, we did not input the correct difficulty level. It would be so easy to say I was wrong, but yet the IOC, and yet even sometimes in everyday life, people want to double down. And you've probably seen it. The Olympics are this worldwide event where people come from all over. And interesting enough, kind of checking up on the latest information for the past couple days, been seeing a lot of videos of Flavor Flav. If you want to talk about somebody who is really trying to embody what it means to be a part of the Olympics, to be there. And not only that, we saw Jordan Chiles and Simone Biles literally have this iconic moment with Brazilian gymnasts. And you're telling me that wonderful moment that is pretty much encapsulated the Olympics and the Olympic spirit as well as sportsmanship, you're going to take that away because judges made an error. the judges made a mistake. Jordan did nothing wrong. Even the Romanian gymnast, who they're saying technically is the new bronze medalist, even she said, you're wrong. You are putting the mental health of these gymnasts, especially these women gymnasts, because women's gymnastics is probably a very technical and precise, and if you look to maybe Simone Biles' floor performance, a bit petty. They want to be the judges want to be so technical, and they want to be so strict on certain things that maybe to the average observer will be, well, why did they take a deduction off that? Why did they take a deduction off this? The Olympics are supposed to bring us together. The Olympics are supposed to show the world that no matter what is happening outside of your four walls, every 4 years, or in this case, every two, because we have the Olympics, the Winter Olympics in a couple years as well, that none of that matters, that there is no hate. There's just us, that we are brothers and sisters in this wonderful field of athletics and athletic competition. And there's nothing wrong with being a fierce competitor. But when it's all said and done, and you see it all the time, when the winners are on the podium, they're congratulating each other. It's not just Jordan and Simone Biles picture. You've seen other pictures of athletes just standing on the podium together, countries that are getting the medal for the first time, you know, uh, athletes that maybe with little to no funding, medium funding, even they have, sponsors that back them, made it to the Olympics. They are on that stage. They are forever immortalized on the fact that they are an Olympic champion. And you're absolutely correct. This story not only affects women's gymnastics, Jordan Chiles, the Romanian gymnast who initially was celebrating with the bronze medal until the inquiry happened. This is affecting a lot of people. And instead of, just like you say, encompassing that Olympic spirit, you want to double down and not just hurt one person or even two people, but you're literally hurting the sport. And the latest news is, even though the appeal was rejected, United States Gymnastics is going to take this to the Swiss tribunal. And the more hurtful thing about this is something that's not going to be a few weeks or a few months. Even during the Olympics, the United States figure skating team, they got their gold medal from the Pyongyang Olympics in 2022 after the Russian appeal failed. That was 2.5 years ago. So it's possible we may not get a resolution for years, which makes it even worse. So can you imagine in a couple years for the Winter Games, whatever decision is made, that it's possible this bronze medal gets awarded, because it would just be so easy to say, I was wrong. And for some reason, and we've seen this in sports, when human error causes something major to happen, and this made me think of the Almost Perfect Game by the Chicago White Sox years ago. Because of human error, there's a reason why we have replay. Even in baseball, they have a certain time limit. But still, even when you have evidence that literally shows you messed up, you would rather double down to be right, to say, oh, it doesn't matter, than than not show that Olympic spirit. Because in actuality, none of the gymnasts did anything wrong. And Jordan even said it herself, she's heartbroken and she's going to take a break from social media. And when social media can really bring us together and show support, literally, just like you said, when you want to strip an athlete of something, automatically people thought she did something wrong, when actuality, all she did was train hard, be the best person she could be. She's one of the most talented gymnasts to come out of UCLA in the past few years, and you are punishing her for just being an Olympian, which is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong.
And that's something I wanted to bring up, that the USA Gymnastics, they made it clear that they are not going to rest. They're going to continue to fight this. So it's going to take a while. Like you said, it's going to take a while, not days, weeks. It's going to take a while. But 4 seconds, really? 4 seconds? The arbitrators ruled that the challenge will for 4 seconds after the time limit. 4 seconds, really? But it's just very unfortunate. I feel that it's tainted. The moment is tainted because you hurt both sides, and it hurt the sport. And we don't like seeing that, especially when we're talking about the Olympics. These are the Olympics. So they train hard for this moments, for these moments. But I feel for her. But if I'm Jordan, I will come back LA 2028 and just win the gold medal. Like
Absolutely.
and like that's what separates great athletes from good athletes. Good athletes, they'll do their part, but great athletes, they're willing to go the extra mile even if they don't feel like it. They will use some sort of motivation to, get them going. That's what separates
Absolutely.
great from good. And if I'm Jordan, I would take the newspaper or whatever it is, staple it, and see that every morning when I wake up and say, oh, you guys want to do this to me? You guys want to screw me out? Watch me in the next Olympics.
You're absolutely right. And I think not only does it show that I think Jordan's going to come back bigger and better. A lot of people gave Simone Biles, some hate for stepping away for her mental health. If Jordan has to do the same thing, I would absolutely applaud her. Even the Romanian gymnasts, even other gymnasts that are looking at this and saying, maybe I need to step away from the sport I love to concentrate on me first. But you're absolutely right. I foresee Jordan, and we've even heard some of these stories, even track and field star, Sha'Carri Richardson, same thing. She came back better. Even uh, basketball player, U.S. basketball player, um, uh, Brain Grinder that came back. You've seen the emotion when you hear your national anthem played, when at some point you thought you may not be there anymore, you may not have gotten the opportunity. So things like this, to be an Olympian. And I always love watching the opening ceremonies, not just to see how the host country wants to welcome the athletes, but I also love seeing the athletes, especially from certain countries maybe we haven't heard from, or you're like, oh, I didn't know they were a country, by themselves. Just like you said, we hear these wonderful stories from the Olympics. So at 2028 in Los Angeles, if Jordan comes back, not only her backyard where she just ripped at UCLA, I would definitely love to see her just show up, show out, and just tell everybody I can be more than, a one trick pony, if you will. Because it was one of Jordan's first individual medals. But again, even Flavor Flav said it. I'm gonna make you a bronze clock. No one's gonna have that. Nothing really is going to be taken away from Jordan's moment. And the United States Gymnastics Organization even said, Jordan, even though the Olympic Committee asked for the bronze medal, they told her, don't give it back without a fight. So as of now, Jordan technically in my opinion, is still the Olympic bronze medalist because she has it. And I still agree, she did nothing wrong, but be the best that she could be on that day. And just like you said, human error, judges error, they would rather say that, they didn't do anything wrong than say, yes, we admit we made a judgment error. But I also agree with something you said earlier, Miguel, in this. Instead of hurting one, why not reward both? So the initial Romanian gymnast that would be the bronze medal, why not give them both? Why not have them share a moment that the IOC said, literally, I made a mistake, but let's take this moment to say you are both worthy of this. And granted, I'm not that, oh, if everybody should get a participation trophy. No, both of them did the best they could do on that day. So, just like you said, it's the judge's fault. So, if you want to make this literally as a situation where human error can can change a person's outlook, that human error can change the focus on a sport, that I mean, if you look at the TV ratings, when gymnastics was on TV, people were glued to the TV. So instead of having this moment be one of uh, devastation because of an error, reward both. Make the Olympics what the Olympics is all about, bringing people together. Even if you mess up, say you messed up. For some reason, that's the hardest and easiest thing to do. Say you were wrong and reward both. And blase as it may seem, let's move on from it. Let us prepare for 2028. And like I said earlier, whatever the resolution is, it's going to take a while. But I see this as not only a challenge for Jordan, but any gymnast that is looking at this and saying, you want to take this from me? Turn it into something positive. Make that your focus, make that your goal. And it's okay to be a little mad. Make it your rage. Let it fuel you to be the best athlete, to still encompass that sportsmanship that makes the Olympics the Olympics. Because let me tell you, even when I went to work in our break room, the Olympics was on TV. For 2 weeks, the whole world, the literal whole world, are going to be glued to the TV, no matter the sport you want to watch. And the wonderful thing is now we are not just rooting for, kind of the most popular sports. We're not just turning in for gymnastics and basketball and track and field. We want to know, how did the water polo team do? How did the rugby team do? How did the volleyball team do? The wonderful thing, even though social media has this dark side to it, it has done wonderful things for a lot of sports at the Olympics. And knowing that 2028 is in the future, and we're also going to see new sports added, squash, rugby, baseball, and softball are going to make their way back. Also, we decided that Snoop Dogg was, our Olympic ambassador. Flavor Flav was this ambassador of kind of these sports that are under the radar. So, as much fun as he said he had, as much Snoop had, being there, let them take the reins to show us that these sports that people literally devote their life to still have a job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, still try to have a life and still want to be an Olympian. Let's bring that to the forefront to say that what Flavor Flav has done for water polo just in these past 2 weeks is amazing. And if that's the case, let the man take on rugby and cricket. Let him take on volleyball, because there are some sports that need to shine a light on, that people don't even realize what it takes to be an Olympian. Like we know it takes a lot of hard work, but sometimes we don't know what's going on in the background, not just mental health wise. You know, a lot of these Olympians are parents. You know, a lot of them are individuals that are from places that maybe don't have a lot of funding, that they're just putting their stuff together to do something they love, to achieve a dream. Let that let that be what the Olympics is. No matter what is happening on the outside, the Olympics is always and always should be about the togetherness, the camaraderie, the sportsmanship of every athlete all around the world, no matter where you're from, to come together and be a shining example of not just where they're from and their culture, but to show that all this hard work can be rewarded with hard work. It shouldn't be that difficult, but yet, like you said, people would rather double down and be right than admit they made a mistake.